Wow, more bad news. It looks like Canelo Alvarez could come back, but he has to face Avni Yildrim. And according to new information, possibly in Mexico. Wow. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. Make sure you guys get the likes up, smash the like button, hit the bell notification to stay tuned for the latest and greatest. Now, Lance Pugmire of The Athletic, he posted out a couple tweets that I want to talk about it. Canelo, quote, is a tremendously important icon for the country, in the world, and in Mexico. He represents so much, and with so much pain here, he wants to bring some happiness to the country, right? So saying basically we're in a pandemic and, there's a lot going on in the world. So he wants to bring some type of solace to Mexico. It says, now the WBC tells a boxing reporter that he'll readdress the franchise champion designation with his board early next year. He goes on to say, quote, I know many of you do not like it. This might lead to us not imposing the franchise tag on Canelo, but it has allowed great fights to happen. And the WBC is saying this after Canelo slaughtered, like I told you, Callum Smith over the course of 12 rounds. Not only did he slaughter him, he did it and he made it look easy, and it was a one-sided fight that was non-competitive. I don't know what you guys watched, but from what I seen, it wasn't a competitive fight. Canelo did what he wanted. He walked down the taller man, good feints, great jab, great ring IQ, just what you would expect from Canelo. Now, the wild card was Callum Smith. Nobody knew what to expect from him, at a world-class level, and you got what it was. So now all of a sudden, the WBC is saying they may look to do away with the franchise tag now that Canelo has left 160, where Jermall, Charlo, and Demetrius Andrade reside and continue to fight. Andrade, who is aligned with the same promoter and not promoter but network, DAZN, and Charlo, who's been calling out Canelo. Now their WBC is saying, hey, we may get rid of the franchise champion now that Canelo says he's not going back down to 160 unless it's for Errol Spence. Oh, what a quinky dink. And it says more from the WBC president on the franchise tag. Quote, I understand and appreciate the concern and confusion it creates. So since this program was created for Canelo Alvarez, they're admitting that it creates confusion, collusion, and concern. The WBC has tried so hard to help Canelo, amplify his fights, amplify his message, things like that. And this whole franchise tag and designation, they've made it, and it's created nothing but confusion, and now they're starting to get it. But it's ironic that now, after people hated it when it was first thought of, and now all of a sudden they get it once Canelo has left middleweight, where he could have fought Charlo and Andrade. Ironic. But this is proof right there what I've always been saying. Man, I keep getting it right. Ego Stradamus strikes. Fuck it. I keep getting right in boxing. I must be the greatest. So they're admitting that the whole program is confusing. It's not even like they tried to make this less confusing, because they then gave Lomachenko top rank, said, oh, we like that. We don't want to have to fight Devin Haney for our fighter, Lomachenko. We'd rather make an in-house fight with Teofimo and Lomachenko, which they did, right? So as a result, they requested it. The WBC, of course, went along with it. And then now this franchise designation turned into a transferable title after, when Canelo was the franchise champion and his mandatory was Jermall Charlo, to alleviate and rid those questions, they initially said that it was a non-transferable title. They said there's no way to transfer it. We only the WBC and its board of governors could actually allow and appoint who's going to be the franchise champion, right? And now they switched it for Lomachenko, and since Teofimo beat him, they allowed this designation to now be like a title. So Teofimo's running around telling people he is the WBC champion when you have an African American fighter, Devin Haney, who got a WBC full-bodied belt too. And Devin Haney is calling for the fight, and Teofimo is asking for $10 million and saying, I'm undisputed. So, yeah, of course, this has created a lot of confusion in the industry of boxing. Now, Lance Pugmire also posted this. On a WBC boxing Zoom call, President Mauricio Sulaiman tells me Canelo had told him he wants to defend his 168-pound belt against his mandatory Avni Yildrim at the beginning of the year, right? And he has wanted to fight in Mexico for a long time. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Not only is he likely have to fight Avni Yildrim, but he wants to do it possibly in Mexico. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable, y'all. So Avni Yildrim is not a known fighter. And Canelo, as you guys can see, is a great fighter. And there's guys like David Benavidez who really had the WBC belt and lost it on a technicality because in the pandemic, he couldn't make weight. It was new. It was like the first fight that Showtime had on their, pandemic calendar. They didn't have a sauna or, limited gym equipment for him in the bubble because, it was the first fight. Maybe they didn't think about all that. They're just trying to get fighters to pass the Rona test, and they had that to worry about. It was an all new pandemic and global crisis and situation that we're still in. And long story short, David Benavidez had a miscalculation, missed weight, and now Canelo wants the belt. Just like when Demetrius Andrade had the belt at 154, Canelo didn't fight him, even though Demetrius Andrade called him a bitch at the time, and he got stripped later for inactivity because he had, promoter issues or whatnot. Andre gets stripped. The belt falls into the hand of Callum Smith's brother, Liam Smith. And then that's who Canelo fought in his last fight for 150 at 154. He came down from the Canelo weight to make the fight for the title, so he stopped fighting at 155, fought Liam Smith, the brother of Callum Smith, at 154 for the WBO title. But why didn't you fight Andre for that title? I mean, this is just a terrible look. The Yildrim fight, I get it. They're saying it's his mandatory, but it's all too confusing what the WBC has done and done on their side of boxing. So as you guys can see, David Benavidez, who just had that WBC title, he's been calling out Canelo. This is just one of them. After the Callum Smith fight 2 days ago, he called him out. He said, this is the fight y'all really want to see. I will go through anybody to get to Canelo, blah, 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 right? It's not the first time he's called out Canelo, and he's really the WBC. As you guys see, this is the fight where he lost his belt on the scale, miscalculation, second time losing, so he has to figure that out. I do agree that David Benavidez got to figure these things out, but Canelo's out here, the same WBC belts. Benavidez had the belt, and now Canelo got him from fighting a British fighter, which he keeps fighting. Now he's the WBC man, and he's fighting families and stuff, but he's never fought David Benavidez, which most people with a boxing brain probably believe that's a all-out, war and better fight. But the WBC, they're going to keep Canelo as a money man, so it looks like they're going to keep catering to anything Canelo wants, and they're going to screw over David Benavidez, not give him the shot and the opportunity of what he's wanted, what his father's been requesting, even though that's a bigger fight. But yet and still in the same breath, they're telling people that Canelo wants to make the best fights and he's an ambassador for the sport. David Benavidez is stopping guys, and looking good. Like this fight I was at in front of almost 50,000 people. He stopped J. Leon Love on the Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia card. And, we may get Canelo versus Yildrim possibly in Mexico. Who knows? Maybe David Benavidez would fight in Mexico. That's a better fight. And just for the people that aren't in the know, before Canelo announced he was suing Golden Boy and DAZN, he was requested to fight Avni Yildrim, as you guys see, the Athletic. WBC Canelo Alvarez wasn't ordered to fight Yildrim. He requested it. So in this whole article, they explained how Canelo Alvarez, being the franchise champion at 160, was entitled to fight whoever he want, per the WBC committee and board of governors voting on it. And he was able to fight whoever he wanted and have first dibs basically as franchise champion. So it's ironic. How does he have a mandatory if he's the franchise champion? And then the WBC wonder why this is confusing. A fight with Caleb Plant is a unification. I thought unifications are supposed to trump mandatories anyway. So what is the WBC doing? That's what I think most boxing fans want to know. Canelo is a great fighter. He showed a lot of skill. A lot of people were talking about the height differential, but we always seen Canelo does good against flat-footed guys. You can't just have power. You got to have power and pizzazz and skill and stuff like that. Callum Smith, they also said he had 4 weeks to prepare. When is Canelo going to fight somebody, if that's true, with the full 8 to 12 week camp, and a style to rival his own? These are the questions people want to know. And the Yildrim fight, if he fights Yildrim in February and he fights him in Mexico, good luck with that, because at the end of the day, Yildrim is a guy who is coming off of a loss, right? So how's he even ranked to the point where it's like they want to create Canelo's legacy? Avni Yildrim, right? This man, how is he even ranked higher than David Benavidez? So Benavidez had the belt twice, right? And Yildrim lost to Anthony Dirrell, a guy that Benavidez knocked out, the only person in the world that could say they knocked out Anthony Dirrell, and he fought punchers like Sakio Bika. And you see in 2019, February 23rd, you see Yildrim's last fight, and he lost because there was a cut that opened up, and he lost. So he lost by stoppage. So the man's coming off a loss. David Benavidez, I get it. He made a mistake, lost his belt twice due to different things, but no one in the ring has beat him. So off of a Anthony Dirrell loss, and then Dirrell went on to fight Benavidez, this don't make sense. So there's Dirrell, who beat the WBC, bro. They're getting fried. Look, so Dirrell beat Avni Yildrim by stoppage, Yildrim's last fight, and then Dirrell himself as champion got KO'd by Mr. David Benavidez, but somehow Yildrim is ranked higher than David Benavidez, who actually had that belt twice. This stuff don't make sense. You could be the diehard biggest Canelo fan in the world, but you see what's happening. You see the cherry pick, and you see how the WBC is allowing it. David Benavidez beat the guy who beat the guy, and now Canelo off of the Callum Smith fight. He told the whole world that Callum Smith was better than David Benavidez and Caleb Plant. Cap. If you believe that David Benavidez or Caleb Plant, either one of them, is worse than Callum Smith at 168, God bless you. But despite the talented Canelo, I don't see either guy win, lose, or draw. Even if they lose to Canelo, they're not going to lose 12 rounds out of 12 in every spot and every second of the round. Stop playing. But we know the game's being played. So until then, it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. But the WBC, they know they can't justify half of this. They're just going whatever. So, Dirrell, as a champion, beat Avni Yildrim, then goes on to lose to David Benavidez, but Benavidez can't get a Canelo fight. All politics. And he 23-0 with no losses. He has an 87% knockout ratio. He's calling out Canelo, as I just showed you. You know, he's calling him out. He's saying this is the fight you guys want, right? But he can't get no looks. So a man with almost a 90% knockout ratio, 6'1.5", 23 fights and wins, no knockouts, 20 knockouts in 23 fights, right? You got a 77-inch reach. He's taller than Canelo. He's Mexican-American, and he speaks Spanish, but he can't fight a Mexican fighter from Guadalajara, Mexico. And they could just easily fight on Cinco de Mayo. So, you know, we see the WBC Witness Protection Program. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more sports. Get unlimited access to premium content with an ESPN Plus subscription. ESPN Plus offers a variety of content, including specials, behind the scenes, docuseries like Bruce Lee's Be Water, and much more. With an ESPN Plus subscription, you get access to a ton of classic archive fights and replays from boxing and the UFC. Big names like, "Hi, I'm Mike Tyson. Come and watch my fight." Floyd Mayweather, "Easy work. I'm rich." And Manny Pacquiao, "Yes, it's up to my promoter." Just to name a few. If that's not enough, you could get the ESPN bundle, which includes ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. All 3 apps, one low price. You don't want to miss out. Make sure you guys click that link in the description box of all of my videos. Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.